What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to hop on and make a quick video for you guys. We'll jump right into it. Welcome to the video. This is Kevin. You already know the deal. I wanted to get on and make this video because it looks like we called it again, guys. It looks like we called it again. As many of you know, if you follow me on X, or if you are in my Patreon or the Discord, they go hand in hand. You know that for the last 2.5, 3 months that I have had the reversal zone, I call it, right? The famous reversal zone marked off, which started on April 14th and stretched all the way to June 6th, as the point where I expected the Bitcoin major correctional phase to end and for us to start our move higher. And you know, it's crazy because it literally looks like we called it to the exact day. We found our low on April 7th and we've been heading higher ever since, which literally was the exact beginning of the reversal zone. We've also had our parallel support on the 3-day MACD, which has held for this entire bull market, hold exactly to the parallel channel bottom support line and start to reverse to the upside, and we have officially got an expanding cross on the MACD 3-day time frame, which is amazingly positive. Over the course of time, Bitcoin major correctional periods last anywhere from 114 to 174 days. We've had this mapped out now for the last 3 months, and we said that the 70 to 75k zone would be the line in the sand major support for Bitcoin, and that if Bitcoin made its way down there and held it, that making and reversed from there, that making a new all-time high would be absolutely not only possible but probable. We did state that if Bitcoin had to go down to 64 to 60k, that it would be very difficult for Bitcoin to come back and make a new all-time high, even though we did believe it would get a big bounce from there. So far, plan A is going exactly according to plan. We've called it from the very beginning. We never got emotional about it. We never got white knuckles about our portfolios. We never did anything. If anything, in the Patreon, we were buying heavily down at those lower levels. So shout out to everybody, including myself in the Patreon. We are experiencing really big gains right now on our spot long portfolio plays, and also our leverage plays are experiencing massive gains. So definitely want to give ourselves a pat on the back there. We definitely called the correction perfectly again. This is my now 11th major correctional phase being in crypto, and we've been able to track these things. I've learned over time what is able to track these major correctional phases, and that is the 2-week stock RSI, the 3-day MACD, and then obviously just being able to read price structure, sentiment, macro fundamentals, right? We did also say throughout that time that as long as the macro fundamentals in terms of inflation, right, and the labor market were to hold up, that it would give us the ability to hold that 75 to 70k range, and that's exactly what occurred. We've had multiple months now where inflation has come down and the labor market has stayed strong, and we've also had the tariffs. The stock market dropped 20 to 25%, and Bitcoin still held the 70 to 75k range and is now reversing to the upside. So again, just brilliant timing on this, brilliant buying at the lows. We are ready to ride this thing back up, and I think it will continue to go back up. So very, very good. One thing I also want to take a look at is the hash ribbons buy signal indicator that we just spoke about. Right? We spoke about how the hash ribbons buy signal indicator on the weekly has a 100% hit rate. It flashed a few weeks ago. We said it takes anywhere from 2 to 9 weeks for it to occur. That move higher, it's been 1, 2, 3 weeks. It's been 5 weeks, but the move did start 2 weeks ago. So it took 3 weeks total for the move to start to the upside. So that is going excellent. The average move higher off of a weekly hash ribbons buy signal is 101%. The smallest move that would occur would be anywhere from 35 to 40%. So long way to go in terms of that. If we were to experience the smallest move possible that we would see on a hash ribbons buy signal, it would get us, ironically, it would get us back to 105,000. That's if we experience the smallest move that has ever occurred on a weekly hash ribbons buy signal. So again, it is possible, something we need to watch for. But the average move that you get on a weekly hash ribbons buy signal, on average, based off every buy signal in history, is 101%. So if we were to measure that up, that would be right around the right at exactly 149 to $150,000. That's if we just get the average move, right? So that's all of the moves in history added and then divided by the amount of moves. That gets you to 150K. So just something we'll need to keep an eye on. But overall, higher time frame indicators are heavily in favor of Bitcoin. One last area that I'm now watching is the bull market support band on the weekly time frame. The bull market support band is currently sitting at 92,200 roughly. The top, I believe this is the 20-week SMA, right? If I'm not mistaken, let me just make sure. Yep, the 20-week SMA. This is going to be the real last moving average on any time frame that Bitcoin's going to want to close a weekly candle above. So from a daily perspective, Bitcoin has accomplished everything we want to be accomplished. That's breaking the 89K level and all of the major daily moving averages, that being the 200 SMA, the 200 EMA, and the 100 EMA. Now we just need to break this weekly bull market support band. If we can break above and close a weekly candle above this $92,200 level, and we have that momentum at our back, I can basically feel really comfortable that Bitcoin's going to likely make a new all-time high. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Something else we're going to keep a close eye on is something that I've been watching very, very closely for years now. Obviously, you guys know me if you follow me on X or if you're in the Patreon, you know that I follow USDT dominance like a hawk. It's something I've been using since 2021. Probably was the first person to ever find that perfect inverse correlation with crypto. But yeah, it's something I use faithfully. And as you can see, we have this macro descending triangle, which has formed on USDT dominance on the 2-week time frame. And also you can see that we're about to get a 2-week stock RSI cross to the downside. You can see per the orange circles, every single time in the last 5 years when a 2-week stock RSI cross has occurred on USDT dominance, we have seen major moves to the downside on USDT dominance. My expectations are if this 2-week stock RSI cross confirms and then breaks back below the 80 level, that USDT dominance will make its way back down to the 3.70% level, where we'll again have to see if we can break that famous 3.70% level. This is a bearish pattern that is forming with that flat bottom and that lower high structure. I do expect at some point that this 3.70% level will break. Could it be on this next move down? We'll have to see, but man oh man, that has been the major area of support. It called the March of 2024 highs and it called the January of 2025 highs in crypto, right? So that will be the big level. I would assume that we would definitely maybe be skimming some profits there, but I think if all goes well, we should probably head back to there within the next, I don't know, I mean, it could be weeks, it could be maybe a couple months, but everything's looking like it should head back to that zone. So that's something we're also going to keep a very close eye on. And as it goes for Bitcoin dominance continues to chug along higher. A major area that I am watching next is the macro 0.786 fib, and that is at the 65.45% level. I do think that Bitcoin dominance could see some major resistance at that level, and maybe even see a pretty good pullback, which would allow altcoins to run. So definitely mark that off on your charts. 65.45% is the macro 786, which will be a major resistance level. Now, obviously, we know on this channel that Bitcoin dominance is heavily tied towards the monetary policy in the United States. So as long as there's quantitative tightening and as long as there's no rate cuts, I expect dominance to just chug along higher, as we've been saying for over a year now, right? I've been faithfully saying for over a year, the top will not come in Bitcoin dominance until monetary policy durably shifts to loosening, meaning end to QT or a drastic slowdown and further rate cutting. I do believe we're going to get some rate cutting here probably in June and July. The question is will QT end? That's all going to depend on bank reserve balances and whether the Fed believes they are no longer abundant. That's something that's really hard to track on our end, but we'll kind of just have to keep an eye on it. In the meantime, I do expect the 65.45% level to be hit. And I do think from a technical standpoint, we could see a little pullback off that level, which would then give altcoins some room to run. which would be very, very nice. Last chart that I want to take a look at here is the total 3 chart, which is currently on the daily time frame. We are at the 200 EMA, the 100 EMA, and then the 200 SMA is above, along with the 786 fib at 862 billion. So far, this move is looking really nice. We have work to do though, right? We did break this downtrending line of resistance, which was very important. But overall, we still have work to do, right? There's nothing, we don't want to get overzealous and too crazy yet, but overall, this looks really good. If we pull up the weekly time frame, it looks even better, right? Weekly time frame looks phenomenal. As you can see, we came down to the macro golden pocket. I've been saying in the Patreon and on X, you treat support as support until it is not support anymore. It's a famous saying that I've been saying for a long time now, and kind of falls on deaf ears sometimes. I think people maybe even get upset when price is moving down, but it's the truth, right? And we were buying heavily in the Patreon down at these levels, a golden pocket and the 100 EMA on the weekly, and it's paying off massively now, right? We've had a huge bounce off that level. You have a huge weekly demand candle, as you can see here. We also hit the macro trend line, and now we're getting a huge move higher, right? A really nice move higher so far. So let's see if we can get that to continue. The same as Bitcoin, total 3 has that nice 3-day MACD cross to the upside. I do want to see some money flow start coming in. I'll keep an eye on that and keep you guys updated. But overall, this is a really good looking chart at the moment. If we can get that looser monetary policy and Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, I do think we can get that bigger move to those higher targets up there at the macro golden pocket on total 3, which is 2.76 trillion. That would be your altcoin season right there, right? So easing monetary policy, Bitcoin dominance falls, you get a move up to total 3 up to 2.76 trillion from the $800 billion level that it's at right now. So something we will also keep a very, very close eye on. And beyond that, guys, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today. Another huge round of applause, right? We really stuck to the guns. We really, through the hard times and through the controversy in the markets, we were able to call this correctional period perfectly. If you're following me, and you know that we have done a phenomenal job at keeping our emotions in check and just following the data. That being macro fundamentals, monetary policy with that, and the technicals, right? Being an expert at all of those, combining them together, and then making our decisions based off that, right? So before I leave, I just want to say that if you are following me on X and you're watching me now on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow. And also the link to the Patreon will be in the description below. If you want to join the Patreon, we have over 1,100 active paid members in the Patreon and over 900 members in the Discord constantly chatting. We have people in there trading together. We have people doing high-level technical analysis in there together. We have live trading bots. We have live buy and sell signals going on in there, which is a separate membership provided to one of my partners in there, which is incredible. The Patreon just continues, and the Discord just continues to grow. I think we have one of the top 5 biggest communities in all of crypto in there. So, and obviously when you're in there, you get to talk to me a lot, right? You get that personal time with me, and I think that's really fun. Definitely a lot of learning going on in there, and a lot of really excellent trading. So, the description will be below. The link will be below, and yeah, beyond that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll be back again when there's more updates to happen. But for now, we are kicking butt. Everything's going according to plan, and we're feeling good. So let's just stay steady, stay measured with our emotions, and continue to watch these markets with precision. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.